good morning, and good afternoon to some parts of the world. Today we have convened here for another episode of FIIOB Podcast, and today we have Souvik Shah, who is a Atletico Madrid fan, and Chirantan, who is a Chelsea fan, and we have met him in the last episode as well on the coverage of the match between Atletico Madrid and Chelsea. So, Chelsea and Atletico Madrid go head to head again on Thursday in the Champions League round of 16, second leg that is supposed to happen at Stamford Bridge is not happening because of all the COVID restrictions. And Chelsea has a one nil lead from the first leg. It is happening. Oh, all right. I'm sorry. It is a mistake from my side. But Chelsea already have a 1-0 victory from the first leg, despite a lot of advantage. So Atletico Madrid has the lead, might not seem unsurmountable, but considering it's Chelsea under Thomas Tuchel, who has gone under kind of a rejuvenation, it might be very difficult for Atletico Madrid. So I'll start with Souvik. Souvik, Atletico Madrid has seen a lot of changes this season. Change in tactics, a change in personnel from players to assistant managers. And Diego Simeone has also kind of tweaked his system to especially accommodate Luis Suarez, who is one of the best strikers in the world till now. But we have kind of seen him having a block when it comes to Champions League matches. He still tried to play the first leg pretty safe when they could have gone attacking. And Luis Suarez got pocketed by Rudiger out of all players. No disrespect to him, but he has not been a good defender as he used to be. So how do you think he would approach this match? He has to win. So will he go counter-attacking or will he go full-on attacking that we saw in Liverpool, especially in the extra time?
So the first match, I wouldn't say would be a good comparison of that match wasn't the Atletico that we've been playing this entire season. First of all, because we were missing a lot of integral players in the first leg. So I'm pretty sure we'll be playing a much more attacking brand of football in the second leg. So Simeone is obviously very defense-minded. So he might play the first half a little cautiously, and then I'm pretty sure the second half he'll go all in. So last match against Getafe, he tested Dembele. So I'm pretty sure he did that for the purpose of getting him a little match experience before the Atleti-Chelsea tie. So I think we'll be seeing the attacking combo of Suarez, Dembele, I'm thinking, and maybe Joao Felix behind them for the creativity. So there's a huge difference in the squads between the two legs. Last leg we were basically playing on one leg, on one foot, but now we have the whole squad with us. All our guns will be blazing, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to expect a much better, evenly matched result compared to the last encounter between the two teams.
Right, and coming to Chirantan, considering Tuchel has already got a first leg advantage in the match. And considering it's Tuchel, who is kind of pragmatic, but he likes to play attacking football. You saw that with PSG as well as by Borussia Dortmund after the Klopp saga happened there. So how do you think would Tuchel try to do it? Will he try to play more conservative, or will he play his usual brand of football, which has been really enterprising for Chelsea after he has been appointed there?
I think what he realizes is the fact that he knows for a fact that he needs to. Simeone would be sitting back in the first half, which, as Souvik said, which I also believe, and that's why he would probably try and get a goal in the first half. Because if he gets another goal, then even though technically the first goal doesn't make any difference, because Atleti needs 2 goals no matter what, right? And with 2 goals, they'll definitely win. If Chelsea score only once. But the thing is, till now he's not considered 2 goals in a match. And he's in fact only one opposition player has scored past Chelsea in the 12 matches that he's been there. So he would be taking a lot of confidence in that. And he also would strongly believe that his team will not let in 2 goals, especially with 3 at the back and with Kante being there as a destroyer and Kovacic being the press-resistant midfielder. Because Kovacic, for all his flaws in the final third, is actually very good at shielding the ball and avoiding the press while dribbling through. So that, along with Havertz up there, actually gives him a chance of scoring a goal. Because all said and done, Havertz in many ways is the younger version of Giroud. because who's a big guy, who's actually fast, of course, compared to Giroud. And after all his COVID issues, he actually looks a lot stronger now compared to what he was in November, December. So probably he's more of a threat up front. And someone like a Hudson-Odoi or a Warner can play off his shoulder and maybe utilize space, considering Atletico will have to push for a goal. They have to score no matter what, right? So therefore, that's what he'll be going with. If he gets a goal in the first half, he'll probably sit back. I'm almost scared about that, because sitting back generally is about inviting trouble and has a shelf life. But yeah, either ways, I expect him to go a little aggressive in the first half and then be much more pragmatic in the second half.
Right. You talked about creating chances, in regard to Havertz, he can create a lot of chances. But one player who can create a lot of chances and can be real menace to the opponent is Mason Mount. And he is not available for the match. Neither is Jorginho. Jorginho gets a lot of slack from a lot of fans, but he is kind of integral to the Chelsea team. If not integral, he's pretty important player to the team as well. Especially Mason Mount. He is amazing player. He's an amazing player, and he's a really important cog in the wheel. So, how do you think Tuchel would adapt to the unavailability of Mason Mount, as well as Jorginho? Of course.
I think this is what Tuchel has been preparing for, especially with the Everton match, as well as for Leeds, wherein he started looking at Havertz higher up so that there is more pace up front. And Kovacic is someone who can actually thread the balls through between the lines. So instead of Mount, who's the ball carrier with a lot of pace, this is what he's trying to probably look at as a replacement strategy. And of course, the fact that if the opposition starts playing high line, then you have players who can play the long ball, which we saw against Liverpool. Of course, I don't expect Atletico to be anywhere as adventurous as Liverpool were, because that's not what Simeone is. Nonetheless, I do expect that Kovacic would be feeding a lot of balls through, and Havertz's space along with Warner is probably what we're going to look at. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with Ziyech actually, because unlike in England, I expect him to get a lot more space to play with in CL, especially with Atletico in their traditional style of being robust in defense, would end up giving him some space just ahead of the final third. So Ziyech in those places can actually get those good balls in. And if Giroud and Havertz both play, then there are two aerial threats. Otherwise, at least one of them would be there in terms of as an aerial threat to actually head the ball in. But then again, you've got Oblak, man, like the best goalkeeper in the world. So.
And talking about Giroud, he has been kind of nightmare for the Spanish teams this season in Champions League. He scored 4 against Sevilla. 4. I mean, you don't expect that from Giroud. He's not that prolific goal scorer. He's more of a different kind of striker. But he's got 4 against Sevilla, which is...
He just Benzema was a better French striker, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, he scored 4 against Sevilla. They would have pretty good defensive team. And then again, he scored an amazing goal against Atletico Madrid in the previous leg as well. Yeah. So he has been a kind of nightmare for Spanish teams this season. And going to Atletico Madrid now, and if Chelsea have their problems with suspensions and injuries to Tammy Abraham, to Mason Mount, to Jorginho, Atletico Madrid also have the issue, but it's not something that can be resolved on the field. It's something that's more psychological. Atletico Madrid once were the favorites to win the La Liga this season. They had a 15 points lead, considering the game they had in hand. But now the league might be cut down to 4 points if Barcelona win tonight against Huesca. So they have a kind of psychological, I would say, block maybe, or a kind of psychological fear that they might have from that. So how do you think will they deal with that?
Simeone is a very tough nut. That is one thing I think all of us are familiar with. He's been at the manager of Atleti the past 9 years, and he's known to drill in a very enterprising and never say die attitude into all his squads. So he goes by the philosophy of partido e partido. So as far as I know, what he'll be saying in the changing room is, forget La Liga. Tonight we need to overcome this goal deficit and get this match in the bag. whatever happens next will happen next. So I'm pretty sure that is the attitude that he's been going with, and that is the attitude that he'll show at Stamford Bridge. So I think that's the attitude. Uh, he always like whatever we have in hand. It's better to think about that first before thinking about bigger things like winning the CL actually or winning the La Liga. So I think that's the attitude he's going to take approach.
Right. And there's one point I would like to have inputs from both of you. Winning the league and Champions League, though people think is pretty easy, it's actually kind of difficult. Even if you see the three-peat winning Real Madrid side, they managed to win the La Liga only once during that time. And win the treble is even more difficult. But Chelsea, though they are a pretty good team, I don't think they have any shot at the Premier League title as of now. I think they know it pretty well that they can't win it. Manchester City is to lose from this point. They just have to win some few matches from now, and they're just winners. But Atletico Madrid are in the race for the title. So, and of course, playing both Champions League in midweek and against a league match on the weekends. And Champions League matches are not against any bad teams. They're like best of the best in the continent. So there is of course a chance of fatigue, and traveling takes a lot of toll as well. So in that way, I think Chirantan would agree that Chelsea has a kind of advantage in this situation compared to Atletico Madrid because they know they can win the La Liga from that situation. Though Simeone might tell his players not to think of La Liga right now, but they would have that in mind, I guess, kind of. So do you think, Souvik, but you said it won't, but do you think realistically it might have any effect on Chelsea, on Atletico's Madrid's season, not only the match, but the entire season from now?
Yeah, definitely it'll leave the players stretched. Like at this point, if we had a 13-15 point lead in the league, as we had like 2 months ago, then I don't think playing the UCL would have been such a headache because we know that we have a 15-point cushion behind us and the second place team. But since the lead might be cut down to 4 points, hopefully it won't. So then it'll be we have a very fine margin for error. We can't afford to drop any kind of matches either here or there. So yeah, it will definitely put a toll on the players, but I'm sure Simeone will be able to drill and grill his players, the team well enough to perform well in both scenarios.
Right.
Like if you look back, even in the 2014, the years that we won the league the last time. So even in that, it was pretty fine in the La Liga. Like we barely beat Barca by 1 point, I think, last day.
Yeah.
And we went to the finals of the CL. So even that was a pretty tough season. So let's see what happens. It's too early to make any kind of predictions in either.
Correct. And one point that has been discussed a lot over this entire season is the presence of the fans. And as Jonathan said, the match will play at Stamford Bridge, and Stamford Bridge is one of the most formidable stadium in entire England for any away team to go to. A lot of teams had been slain, put to sport in Stamford Bridge. So how do you think, Jonathan, that would this affect the outcome of the match?
I think we've already been playing without fans for a year now. So players are actually fairly used to the idea of not playing with fans, like in the sense playing in an empty stadium. That part is going to be pretty balanced. Where I think is good for Chelsea is the fact that by virtue of playing at your home ground, you're very used to the dimensions of the ground, which is a very underrated aspect.
Correct, exactly.
So the length of the ground don't change, the widths do change. So imagine the width changing across 1 meter or 1.5 meters in terms of width. The same cross, which would either fall short and go to the first post in a different ground, would actually be deep in the middle of the goal, and then the XG goes up suddenly from 0.1 to 0.3, and then goal scoring opportunity comes through. So that's something Atletico missed in their home leg, right? So-called home leg, which is basically happened in Bucharest.
Bucharest.
Yeah. So that's something which Chelsea will have because they've already played 20 times in this ground, and that's why they know the ground very, very well this season. And that's something which I hope they maximize to their best of their capabilities, which is a God gift because I mean, sorry, COVID is not a gift to anyone, but such is the scenario that it's kind of come as an advantage. So might as well make use of it, right? Let's see how that goes, because I still feel that is actually a pretty useful benefit to have, even though the crowd is not there. Nothing like the crowd, but this is a tangible benefit which people don't understand because it's so deep ridden in terms of the numbers.
Right. And coming to Atletico Madrid, they didn't have the home advantage this season, which was kind of sad. But they do have the advantage of playing an extra 30 minutes if they can score one goal at Stamford Bridge and not concede any. Extra 30 minutes to score an away goal. So do you think it might affect the outcome of the match? It can decide potentially that what happened in Anfield last season.
Yeah. I'm not trying not to be too ambitious, like having a repeat of what happened at Anfield. That was something that generally happens once in a couple of seasons. So let's hope it doesn't go to the last 30 minutes. It gets decided, whatever the outcome, within the 90 minutes, because that will only add to the player fatigue, which we don't want when we go back to La Liga, whatever be the result. So yeah, definitely
Don't play your first team, man. Don't play your
to
first team. That should help your fatigue issues.
I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. That is actually a problem. Like Simeone, in many matches where we feel he could have given players like Saponic and other players a chance, he tends to not play them. He keeps them on the bench. So that is a problem that we feel. He likes playing the first team players.
That is a problem because you lost out so early in Copa del Rey. Had you been around in Copa del Rey, you would have actually got those players to play some games and would have gotten confidence to play them in La Liga subsequently.
Maybe, but then at the same time, we would have been stretched in 3 different directions. So I don't know. So yeah, definitely. The few Copa del Rey matches we played, we got to see a few youngsters that were not even like maybe in the A team or B team. So like Saponic, I think he played a few minutes in the Copa del Rey. So, and then I think at the start of this year, he was loaned out to Cadiz or somewhere. So
okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So yeah, let's see how the 90 minutes pans out.
Right. I think this game has a promise to be an absolute firecracker because both the teams have a lot to prove.
Yeah.
For example, Chelsea haven't
exactly
progressed beyond round of 16 since 2014 when they lost the semi-final to Atletico Madrid at Stamford Bridge 3-1. When Mourinho was in charge of the team, the greatest ever manager, and Atletico Madrid have been quite unpredictable in the last few seasons. They have been giant slayers, defeated Barcelona, they defeated Bayern Munich. But again, they fell to pretty weaker teams. They fell to Juventus, with all respect to Ronaldo. They are not as good as he used to be before. They fell to RB Leipzig quite unpredictably. It was last year's considered to be the golden opportunity for Atletico Madrid to win the Champions League. And in 2017-18, they got knocked out completely of the Champions League. They went down to Europe. They won it, but for a club like Atletico, it's kind of embarrassing.
So I'm saying 2017-18, Chelsea only knocked them out to third place, right? So,
yes, and then Chelsea lost to Barcelona. That is the last time they actually played in the Champions League. So yes, a lot of things to prove, and this match can be a fire of baptism for a lot of players. For example, Luis Suarez, pretty well-known Champions League underperformer. And
he loved to be back at Stamford Bridge. I'm pretty sure Suarez would be relishing at the fact of going back to Stamford Bridge. And like this season, one thing that we've all noticed is that Suarez has a very strong hunger and that he wants to prove all his like haters wrong, that he's still not out. Like he's been phenomenal in La Liga, and let's hope he has the same hunger to prove himself in the UCL. As you mentioned,
I would have preferred him not being so phenomenal in La Liga. But anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is. And he has a lot to prove against his former club, against his Bartomeu. And we saw how he took a dig at Bartomeu before leaving the club in his farewell and all. But Thomas Tuchel, that guy got sacked quite unfairly from PSG because he fell out with Leonardo. But he is the only manager who has taken them to Champions League final. And he has a lot to prove as well, that he's not finished. And he deserved
and
a
he
bigger
won a domestic treble
chance. Yes, he's an amazing manager. So, yeah, both the teams have got a lot to prove. But where the spotlight of the match might not be, should be, I believe, are the goalkeepers. Jan Oblak versus Edouard Mendy. Jan Oblak is probably the best goalkeeper in the entire world. Again, there's Manuel Neuer, but we don't consider him a human. So, probably the best human goalkeeper in the entire world, Jan Oblak. And Edouard Mendy, what an amazing player, what an amazing goalkeeper. Long hands, long legs, amazing reach, and he can do anything he wants to. So, of course, we'll see what happens during the game, but we hope to have a good game. But anyway, before ending, prediction time. What do you think the final score would be, Chirantan?
I think it's going to be 1-1 draw, Chelsea going through.
Chelsea going to 2-1. All right. Aggregate. What about you, Souvik?
I think 2-0.
2-0 to Atleti.
Yeah, 2-0 Atleti, obviously.
Close game. Pretty close game. Both the predictions. No one is trying to be too overconfident in their teams. But yeah, amazing to have both of you here. We'll see what happens on Thursday. I'm very excited for the match. I'm going to watch it now. I'm going to watch it, and of course. Thank you here. Bye-bye. We'll meet again.